So, Shoshana's going to get a slide here. There we are. You can see it over here too. That's the overview of the city there. It's a beautiful, wonderful town. Who is taking our air to get there? You guys are all part of our air? Okay, great. So we've got transfers all arranged. And I'll just go through the itinerary if you guys don't mind. And I won't be a spoiler. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'll just briefly explain what we're doing in the itinerary, and then we'll move on. So we've got some American flights. Who's on American? And we've got a transfer for you guys, I think around 1 o'clock or 9:30 in the morning transfer. And who's on Delta? Who's on Delta? Okay, so okay, right. This one, yeah, right there, yeah. So we got transfers for those who are taking our airport. And there in Barcelona Airport, you'll be met by our staff. This will be Daniel. He's going to be your travel director. He is indigenous to Barcelona. He grew up in Barcelona. He's a scholar, young guy, in his early 30s, and he's traveled all over the world. He's got like many degrees in just different subjects, and he's a great travel director. One of our best. So Daniel will be meeting you. We'll have a sign that says AHI. And so we'll have a sign that says AHI, thank you.
Yeah, it's a little distracting.
Yeah, distracting. And then he'll take you, there'll be 2 transfers to the hotel. And I think we have a picture of this.
Picture.
And so it's about a 45-minute ride. Okay, so I just wanted to do the region here. Got a little map there. So you'll be, yeah, you can, so, yeah. If you're not familiar with the region, it's here's the map, and you know, we're of course in Barcelona center right here. So we're on the water, on the edge of the northeast of Spain. We'll be going out to the wine country, which will be around here, which is a little bit west, and have those Shoshana. Who's signed up for the Shoshana excursion? Anyone signed up for that? Yeah, and Figueres. So that's out, and up here is about a 2-hour bus ride up to Shoshana Figueres. And that's, if you don't want to do that excursion, that's fine. We do still have space for those who want to do the Shoshana excursion. There's the cathedral, and of course Dali, the Dali Theater, and the museum up there. So it's worth the $150. If you're wondering if you have any other plans, that's fine. But
Was that the only excursion?
No, we've got plenty of excursions.
You're not going to be the only, I signed up for one extra one. I
Yeah, that's the only
was.
extra, yeah, right, yeah. That's the only
wasn't
extra.
the wine tour, was it?
Right, yeah. Wine tour is included,
Okay.
Thank God. So anyway.
What is the scenery driving from?
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. It's a 2-hour drive, and I'll get into that, but a beautiful drive. And the wine country, of course, is another. You can't go wrong driving around Denise knows this, just being in Spain, at least for a semester. It's a great countryside. So it's about a 45-minute ride to the Renaissance Hotel. This is the same Renaissance, the Marriott Renaissance, Renaissance chain, Marriott Renaissance. It's a great hotel. There's many hotels right in Barcelona Center. Unfortunately, a lot of them are either have not been renovated or are in the process of being renovated and/or way expensive. But this we found, and we've looked at a lot of hotels. I remember doing this about 3 or 4 years ago, and this really was our best choice. It's a beautiful hotel, and Shoshana, you can click that next slide. This is totally refitted. There's the lobby here. There's an upper deck. You go on top of the rooftop, a great rooftop deck that you can overlook. Actually, you can see La Sagrada Familia from the deck. Great place just to have a little cocktail drinks. And I think we try to have the receptions in good weather on the rooftop. So great hotel. Here's some of the rooms. Very nicely furnished. Great hotel staff. They've got these chocolate-covered almond thingies in the bar. So go for that. I took a pack of those things. I took like a load of those things home. And I got 2 daughters. One's going to be 14 on Sunday. Wow, and another 15-year-old. And those things were gone like about 5 seconds. But anyway, great food there. So it's a great hotel. Very spacious rooms. Wi-Fi, full Wi-Fi. There's a great bar there. There's a rooftop lounge. It's all the modern facilities of an American, Renaissance Marriott type of hotel. So it's very, very nice. So I think the first thing that we're doing, I'll just grab my itinerary. First thing we're doing after we all kind of get settled in is we are going to have a reception that evening where you can meet everyone. But it looks like almost everybody is here. So I think we've got 8 others from the World Affairs Council, and then we've got 2 folks that are from the Penn State Alumni Association who couldn't do their departure. So you guys make them feel unwelcome. Okay. I don't like things. I'm just kidding. So they're welcome, and they'll be part of the roaming group here. So the first thing after you guys kind of get over the jet lag that evening when you arrive, we'll have a history of Catalonia and Barcelona. So we've got a great lecturer. Got a journalist who speaks. We've got a great lecturer, a couple of great lecturers. First one will kind of give you an overview of the history. Then immediately after that, we're going to go to a nice reception, hopefully on the rooftop if weather's good, and then we'll have a dinner there, right after. So I think it'll be a kind of an early night for everyone. And then the next day, we do actually a walking tour straight from the hotel. The Las Ramblas, which is the main drag, is 2 blocks away. So it's literally 2 blocks away. And so I don't know if Joe knew this, but when we're doing this conference, I got on the train. There's just a train there, the subway train, and did a lot of exploring on my own, just going on the train. In fact, I think when we dropped, with this conference, we dropped the conference, everyone said, "Oh, Mark, let's come back with us on the bus, from the airport." But I actually took the train back from the airport. So the transit system, just like here in Philadelphia, because my kids want me to lower my carbon footprint, so I try to take as much, SEPTA and Metra and Charlie Card and all that throughout my travels. And so the train system is, very modern and very efficient, and so and cheap. It's kind of hard to figure out how to get the tickets. So Daniel can help you with that if you guys are interested. Just jumping on. There's a free day, and I'll go into that. But but there's the train right there too on the Las Ramblas. So it's very cool architecture. We're going to hit a couple of different spots on the walking tour in the Gothic Quarter. So you'll be doing a lot of walking. I've got a challenge with my daughter and my Fitbit today. So hopefully, you guys will have challenges with each other if you guys have Fitbits, and maybe you win this number of steps that you do, or maybe not. So we'll do a lot of walking for the morning until about 11:30, and then we'll have this great actually. You flip that slide, Shoshana. We're actually going to have this cooking demonstration and lunch. So you're going to make your own lunch. What a tour! What a tour! You make your own food.
Do we have to clean up too?
No, we'll clean up. Well, anyway, so we've got this great. So you're doing the Las Ramblas, and you go see the Roman. See the cathedral there, and you see all the Roman architecture right there in the square, and then you go around the corner, and there's this great couple who actually has this cooking class thingy that we found just out of, and they said, "Oh yeah, you could bring groups in, and we'll teach them how to do a little cooking, and then they can sit and have lunch." So we thought that was a great idea. So you guys will be doing that for your own lunch. The first, your first lunch will be actually making. There's a paella in there, and so it's great. You know, there's nothing like cooking together as a group, having a little wine, cava, and then having some lunch. So anyway, that's going to be great. Again, I don't want to spoil it for you. And then right after lunch, I think everyone's going to take a nap. And then we'll have our journalist, Zachary, come and he's going to talk about you know, the Spanish relations with the United States and the European Union. So that'll be fun. And then the next thing, my favorite part of this tour was our lecturer. He's a professor at the university there at Barcelona, and he's the quintessential expert on Gaudi. He says, Mark, don't say Gaudi, say Gaudi. So on Gaudi, he'll have an hour lecture about Gaudi, and it's absolutely fascinating. I'm not sure if any of you guys are architectural buffs, but he's just so fascinating. And the fascinating part of some of Gaudi's work is that you know, which I didn't know. This one thing I didn't know is that when they were building the World Trade Towers, they actually consulted with Gaudi secretly to see if he wanted to submit some designs in a place in New York City for the World Trade Towers. And so they have this sketch. He'll show you this. He has this sketch. You know, Gaudi's architecture is like, they look like, you know, it's very modern, I guess you could say. But anyway, his design was having this, it would look like a bullet, this big bullet structure, these two big bullets in the middle of New York City. And that was just very interesting to me that they actually secretly went to Gaudi and said, hey, why don't you submit some design? And unfortunately, he had died before, you know, they decided to pass on his design, but he had died before, you know, they kind of made that decision. But it's very fascinating. He's got those sketches of what the World Trade Tower would look like in his world. But so we do the talk, and then we do Gaudi's Barcelona. So you'll go and see all of his really structures. And the thing is that again, at the hotel, a couple blocks, take a right, and there's all of these great architectural masterpieces. And so they're right in the neighborhood. And again, we don't see everything, but if on your free time, you know, in the evening, walk around, if you want to see more of Gaudi, you can easily do that, just walkable, you know, from the hotel. These are some of my pictures of La Sagrada Familia, which is a real highlight for us. This is kind of his masterpiece, where he's very devoted to the Catholic Church, and started off as kind of actually the real story is that he wanted this big monstrosity of a church, but he couldn't get the, you know, he slowly built it, and then of course after he passed away, another architect, he gave the throne to another architect to continue. But this is completely fascinating, this church, and they actually, when you walk into it, they have actually the model of what he thought it should look like, you know, at the end of it, and you can see some of the sections are not even finished yet. This is one too. Next slide. So after we do the Gaudi, we'll have the afternoon at leisure. There's a lot of great restaurants around, and so Daniel will tell you some restaurant suggestions. So the thing about Barcelona is a good food town, you know, tapas and, you know, just great fish and cuisine. And so what we did not want to do is essentially kind of have every meal for you, right, and give you guys some flexibility in going out on your own, and you know, discovering Yelp and all the TripAdvisor suggested restaurants that you would want to go to. So we made a lot of free time where you can do some of your own meals. That includes a lunch that afternoon. Then after that, we have a briefing at the consulate. I think we've got that all arranged where you guys will have a special visit at the U.S. consulate. Denise will be leading the charge, I think, and she's got the keys to the place, so she can open the doors up. She knows the secret handshake too. She's not going to teach you guys that. And so we'll have a nice visit with the consulate, which will be great. And then we'll have dinner. So we'll have a local dinner that evening. On to day 5, we'll have, again, this,
Go back.
let's go back a little bit. So again, if you guys, Sharona, if you guys haven't done Sharona, again, so this is the cathedral there in Shoshana. Again, it's about a 2-hour drive there by bus. Anyone watch Game of Thrones? Anybody? Game of Thrones? Well, this is the palace of the Voss. The Voss, remember? You know, so a lot of some of the structures there is actually used in the TV series Game of Thrones. So that's where the knife, where the sword fight was. Anyway, so that's the ancient city of the Voss in the Game of Thrones. But actually, that's the cathedral in Girona. There's a great the Jewish quarter in Girona, where it's kind of a maze kind of place. And then this is the Dali Museum and Theater. And if you are into Dali or art, that's a really cool place to go. So it's basically it's an added excursion. If you want to buy it for $150, we still have space. If you don't, and spend your time, that's fine too. So whatever you want to do for that day. But that day is completely open for those who are at leisure, who don't want to do the excursion, because it's 2 hours up. We have lunch out there, and then there's another hour up to Figueres, and then it's another 2 hours and 15 minutes back to the hotel.
Full day.
It's a full day. Yeah, it's a full day, but it's worth the day. So then your dinner's on your own, but that's a full day, starting at 8:15 to 6:30. The whole Sharona Figueres. Next day, Thursday. Next slide, Shoshana. Is my favorite. Another one of my favorites is the Picasso Museum. So we'll take a bus to the Picasso Museum. That's the museum. Picasso. He's from Barcelona, and I'm not sure that people really know that. It's from Barcelona. It's his hometown. His dad was an artist himself, and so you'll learn about Picasso. We lose the presentation. You learn about Picasso. You learn about his art, and so in the museum, which is great, it's right in what they call the Born district of the town. You'll go through his life, his entire life, starting from when he was an art student and how his dad was kind of helping him, become an art student. And actually, as a kid, as a teenager, he was like one of the considered the best or the most famous. He won all these awards as an artist as a kid, and then he went, of course, through life, moved to Paris, and that's when Picasso kind of became Picasso. But that was a real highlight for me, because there's so much information I didn't know about Picasso, and all of his blue period, all that work is in this museum. So very, very cool. His relationship with the Trek, it's a whole story. So we'll do that half a day. There'll be, I think there's lunch. There's no lunch with this afternoon, and there's no dinner, so you have more free time there. Then the next day, the presentation's just going bad here, isn't it? It started here, and that's down here. They had all these nice pretty pictures. I should just show it on the computer, actually. That's probably a good idea.
Okay.
Get the screen. Not just going to set my computer right here. You guys can see the pictures right here. We'll turn this silly TV off. All right. Oops, great, thanks. Thanks. All right, so here's. It's all infused. So
We
here's,
can also see it at home on our own.
yeah. So here's there. So what is it? Here's the look, the Montserrat.
Oh, boy.
Montserrat. And that's absolutely beautiful. So you see the cathedral there in Montserrat. That's going west from Barcelona. It's a beautiful drive. This is, they say you can see the Virgin Mary on the rocks. It's the huge cathedral there. A fascinating place. The monastery. the whole basilica, which is just beautiful. So we'll spend some time there, and then we'll go to, that takes about an hour and a half to get up there, or get over there to the monastery, and then it's another half an hour. So we'll spend an hour and a half there, and then about another half an hour it takes to get to, ta-da, the wine country. And so, and this is where, of course, they make the cava. You know, the cava is their sparkling wine, and we'll have lunch out there. Great winery there where we can taste all these nice different wines. We'll have a really beautiful lunch out in the wine region. It's a family-owned place there, and we'll spend a lot of time out there. So that'll be very, very nice for everyone. And then we basically we come back, and then finally is a full day. We'll have a lecture in the morning about the contemporary life of Barcelona, and then you guys are kind of free to do whatever you'd like. You know, Daniel will give you some suggestions if you want to go back to see more of Gaudi, when you get on the train and go. You know, there's trains all over the place. You know, both going outside of Barcelona and within Barcelona. If you want to do the train, Daniel will tell you how to do all that, help you with that, train tickets. There's other architecture there that you can see. There's tapas, you know, there's great restaurants there in Barcelona. A lot of different choices that you'd have. Daniel, and the thing is that you might, you know, while you're on the trip, you say, oh God, I want to come back to this, and I want to do more explore this a little better. And so Daniel will help you do that. And there's lots of shopping, you know. I think, yeah, wherever I'm going, you know, it's with my daughters, it's all about, you know, Dad, we need a free day for shopping. So that's also popular. Again, you're right on Las Ramblas, and they got all these great, cool fashions that they don't have here. A lot of stuff that's there that is not here, and so you'll really enjoy that. And then I just want to say thank you. And here's Joan and I in Barcelona. It says, have a great trip. Have a great trip. Have you seen that picture, Shoshana?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then, so that's it. Does anyone have any questions?
Is there a restroom on the bus, or how does that work?
We'll have rest stops. There's not really a rest stop, yeah.
Okay.
And then you just put your hand up, and we'll make sure that we'll always have rest stops. We're very good at that. We've got some great guides, by the way. You know, Daniel's the main travel director, and so he'll just kind of oversee everyone. But then when we do like the walking tour, we have specific guides to do that. Or when we're on the bus, say in Montserrat, we'll do rest stops and make sure that everyone's comfortable. And as far as also with walking, if anyone has any kind of walking issue, we'll make sure that we give everyone a preview of what's going to be happening before that, and make sure everyone can do the walk. It's not a whole lot of walking, but you know, some have trouble walking, and we just want to make sure that everyone's
Wait a
comfortable.
second, didn't you promise 3 miles a day?
That's right, it's a challenge, challenge in the Fitbit. No, yeah, we say, I think we say in our materials that there is some walking, but we'll, you know, again, Daniel is, just make Daniel aware that if you have any issues, you know, that we'll make sure that we'll get transport for you, you know, help for you to do some of these things.
With the internet, I know it was mentioned, you don't need a transformer in the hotel. All you need is a little round thing. You don't need the transformer.
That's correct. So, yeah, so you're saying like you plug in an iPhone or a computer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, you just need the adapter.
The
Yeah.
round one, right?
Yeah, yeah. So the adapter's good. You know, the transformer part, actually, most electronics these days are the thing. It's the big thing itself.
Because if you look at most adapters, the bricks, it says 120 or
Right,
220.
right, right.
110 or 220.
Right.
The transformers are built into the unit itself.
Electronic.
Oh, yeah, that's
So-
right. Yeah.
But it's the one with 2 holes, 2 round holes.
2 round.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. That's Euro plug. Yeah.
Well,
It's a Euro plug.
Euro plug.
Right. Yeah. It's euro. And then this, you know, it's, yeah, in currency, if you like, again, in currency, you might want to take some currency, it's euro. You don't necessarily have to. I usually, what I just do when I'm traveling anywhere, I travel all over the world, I just use my ATM card and I just wait till I get there. I use my ATM card and I draw their, or whatever currency out of the bank, out of the ATM. And that actually gives you the best exchange rate. And then if you buy big, yeah, better hotel, yeah. And so also if you have any big purchases, I would buy that on a credit card. Again, credit cards and the bank cards have the best, transaction rate currency exchange rate. So just FYI. You know.
So how much cash would you need to carry with you? I mean,
Not, you know, it's just like here. You know, I don't really feel, if you feel comfortable, you know, I would. You know, like my brother, he always wants to have some kind of currency in his pocket. Maybe I'm a little bit more, you know, not a little too risky, but I don't really carry any cash on me when I travel internationally. I just wait till I get to the place. My brother's different. He likes to go to his local bank, get it like 100 euros just to have in his pocket.
Right.
And I would suggest if you're comfortable with that, you know, 50 to 100 euros. That would be good, you know, to have just as, you know, just in case you feel comfortable having cash on you. But again, just like, you know, America, it's a lot of credit card, you know.
Easiest thing to do is when you get off the plane, in the main lobby, there were racks and racks of ATMs and get your money then instead, because you said
That's right.
you get a much cheaper rate than if you get it here.
That's exactly right, and so right there, and we'll give you time to do that. So once you get off the plane and you you know, go through customs, claim your luggage, we'll give you time to, you know, to use the facilities. We'll give you time to do an ATM if you want. And there's ATMs right at the hotel, you know, right across the street from the hotel. There's banks, in fact, a bank right across the street. So if you wanted to get go to an ATM, Bank of Spain, right across the street. So if you wanted to, you know, do the ATM there, you could do that there too. But a lot of people just do exactly that. They just get to the airport, they go to the ATM, they get the local cash, and then they're on their way.
I know the pickpockets are out in.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's exactly the point. So I'll tell you a good story. Not only the pickpockets, but criminals are out. So we were on this conference actually with Joan, and there's Bill Bennett from the University of Indiana. You know, we've got about 30. You know, we had this conference, and so Bill, he's a shutterbug. He's got a really nice camera. I mean, really nice camera. Yeah, and he's got it all strapped up. You know, and so he decides to go out like in the evening, like right outside the hotel in the evening. It's like, you know, like not like 8 o'clock. It's like 10 o'clock, 10:30, like late. Which I don't really recommend that unless you're with somebody. But he just decided to go out alone, you know, and wanted to take some pictures. And so, you know, these criminals, they work in teams. So one person, I think it was a couple, walked up and like threw something on them, like mud or whatever on them, like and the purpose of that is so he could take off, unstrap himself with that camera, you know, put it down and kind of wipe himself off. And another person was coming this way to take the camera. So he was smart. He's like, you know, the couple came and distracted. Oh, you want me to help clean this up? I'm sorry, you know, whatever. You know, let me, you know, help you again. And he's like, no. And he just immediately just bolted right back to the hotel. So my point is, they're out there, and Daniel will warn you this. And they work in teams. They're highly professional. They're really good. And not only pickpockets, but they're going to steal your stuff. You know, your iPhones, your purse, you know, your wallet. So just be very careful when walking the streets. I would say that evening is not a great time to be out there because they're just looking for tourists to, you know, to violate. So so just be careful. Just be careful of your possessions. And there is a lot of pickpockets.
Do they have safes in each room?
They do. Yes. Yeah. No, safes in all the rooms and high security there actually. Very good security. You see a security person right when you walk in. There are a couple of guys actually. so it's freezer hide
So
inside.
what do you do with passports?
Uh,
Do you put them in your safe at night, or
You
does
can
the
put them,
hotel
yeah,
keep them?
yeah,
or-
you can put it safe. I think the hotel, I can't remember if the hotel kept mine or not, but I usually put mine in my safe, you know, for safekeeping. And just don't forget to take it back. We did that too. I'm at the airport, my passport's in the safe.
You won't need your passport until the end, really, when you leave.
Right,
Not
yeah.
for anything
That's
during
right.
the trip.
Well, you need it for the
The
embassy,
embassy,
the
yes.
consulate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you must
need-
bring your
Yeah.
passport to the consulate or you will not be
Right, that's right.
allowed in. Your other valuables will be left on the bus, if you have a purse or camera or anything.
That's
They don't allow, or big bag, you can take a small person, but no cameras are allowed inside
Right.
the consulate.
Yeah.
And can I just say, there's no need for anybody to go anywhere alone, especially at night. I'm on the trip for that reason.
Mhm.
If you want somebody to join you for dinner, for lunch, to take a walk, to try the metro, I'm the person to ask. Because I know some people are traveling alone, and, you know, I'm happy to accompany anyone to, you know,
Great,
to
yeah.
just
Thank
go
you,
out
Denise.
and have a
I'll
walk
be happy
around.
to keep you company.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy that. So I like to explore.
Yeah, it's a great
So is
exploring
mine.
town, great
Yeah.
town, and Denise is a great host, so, yeah. Any other questions you guys might have? All right. Well, this has been wonderful, you guys, thank you for coming today.
Thank you,
know.
Mark, for
Yeah.
coming in Chicago, yeah.
We'll keep you guys taking off like in a couple weeks, you know?
Yeah.
I wish I was going with you, I love Barcelona, so. I'll be in dreary Ireland.
Oh,
that's.
What a shame.
Yeah, darn it. I'll be in dreary
Where-
Galway
where-
with the rain.
Where, are you north and south?
Yeah, I'm starting in Shannon,
Yeah.
going down to Dingle and through Killarney, gotta go to Tipperary, there with Dublin.
Dublin,
But
you'll love
not
it.
the north,